Hello everyone, in today's lesson we are going to look at surds. Now some of you are wondering, what is a surd? Now by definition, a surd is an irrational number. When we talk about an irrational number, we talk about a number which cannot be expressed as a fraction. For example, the square root of 2. Okay, when we get our calculator and we place the root of 2, this is equal to 1.41421, and we cannot express this number in terms of a what? A fraction. That is 1. Number 2, we have root of 3. Now root of 3 is just an approximate of 1.73205 and others. We cannot express this guy as a rational number or as a fraction. Also we have root of 11, and the root of 11 is the same as saying 3.3166 and other digits. We cannot get the fractions of these numbers. Now, we have to note that it doesn't mean that since we are taking the square root of numbers that are going to be irrationals. For example, if I have a square root of 4, the square root of 4 will give me a what? A 2. What does that mean? Root of 4 is not a what? A surd. Root of 9. When I take a root of 9, the result is going to be a 3. Sorry, this is a plus or minus a 2. This is a plus or minus a 3. Meaning that root of 9 is not a what? A surd. Now in the comment section, you are going to tell me one number which is not a surd. Now, after knowing what a surd is, we are going to begin by simplifying surds. For example, simplify the following surds. Now to simplify part A, root of 8, we are going to begin by expressing this 8 as a product of two factors. But we have to make sure that one factor is a largest perfect square factor, and that is probably a 4. So when we get 4 and we multiply with a 2, we are going to get 8. But everything is under the root. Okay? Now, after doing this, we are going to use the rule that if I have a surd of A multiplied with B, okay, this one is split by taking the root of A, then multiplied with the root of B. I said if they give us root of A multiplied with B, okay, this is equal to just the root of A times the root of B. So when we go back to our question, I'm going to say that this is the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Is that hard? Ngambye nti bwe batugamba tufindinga surd eya 8 oba square root ya 8, tugenda kunoonya ennamba 2 of which tufunye 4 ne 2. Naye tulina okumakinga sure nti ennamba emu osobola okufuna square root yaayo. Yensonga lwaki nnonze 4. Kati bwe tumaliriza tugenda kugamba nti singa mbeera n'ennamba 2 wansi wa square root, kino ngenda kyawulamu 2 nga ngamba nti eno A ngenda giwa root ne B nayo njiwe root. Kyenkoze wano nenfuna kineeno. Okay? So this is equal to, tukimanyi ffenna nti the square root of 4, this one is going to give us a 2, and the square root of 2 remains as a surd of 2. That is part A. Part B, we have the square root of 50. Okay? So don't forget the principle. We say that we are going to look for two numbers. One being a perfect square factor, and probably that is a 25. So we are going to get 25, we multiply it by 2, meaning that the balance after multiplying, we are going to go back to what? To 50. Then we take the root, not forgetting the principle. So this is equal to the square root of 25, then times the square root of 2. So this one is going to give us the root of 25 is the same as 5, and the root of 2 is going to remain as a surd of 2. So we are going to do part C, that is the square root of 72. Now, when you finish getting the answer, please put it under the comment section. Then part D, we are going to simplify the square root of 98.